What's good, YouTube? We are officially 19 days away from the college football release. That's if you have the deluxe edition, and we are 22 days away if you're getting the standard edition. I thought this would be the perfect time to go over the 5 most impactful changes to the game. Obviously, it's been 11 years. Some of this stuff has been in the game before. A lot of the stuff is new, though. So with starting at number 5, this will be probably the easiest mechanic to learn, but still going to be a very massive skill gap very quickly because of just how used to freeform and bullet passing we are in Madden. We've gotten pretty spoiled with just being able to hold the button. Pass is almost always perfectly accurate. The only thing that would ever make the pass wobbly or wonky is usually pressure from a defensive end, defensive tackle, or if your quarterback's ratings are just super low and you're playing on like simulation mode or something like that. But with that being said, revamped passing is going to be really cool, but it's going to take some time for a lot of people to get used to, including myself. I mean, you could just bullet pass everything in Madden. You can freeform, put the ball exactly where you want. Obviously, the freeform kind of probably wasn't used by most casual players. I didn't really ever see a need for it when I was playing in my franchises. But whenever I started playing online, you want that freeform passing. You want to be able to put that ball exactly where you want, only in a spot your receiver can get. And that seems like what they're trying to do with the revamped passing. Obviously, if you've played 2K before, you kind of know what the shot meter timing stuff looks like. It looks like that's what they're going for with their passing meter. You've got the perfect, you've got the early, late, all that kind of stuff. But you really want to get to that perfect window because that makes your pass perfect, and then only your player can really get to the football. They've talked about that there really isn't any quote-unquote inaccurate balls. More so what they are is the pass is just easier for a defender to get to, basically. I'm not sure if I'll find the exact tweet that I'm quoting in time for this video, but they've talked about that these accurate balls, whenever you time them perfectly, are really going to be only obtainable by your player. That's kind of the idea of it. Obviously, if you're making the wrong read, then again, a DB is going to get the ball. But that, in theory, you're trying to get that perfect window for a pass that only your receiver can get their hands on. So it's going to be really exciting, but it's going to take some getting used to, because learning the lob, learning the touch pass, and then also trying to learn how to thread the needle with this new throwing meter is going to be challenging, but I think it's really going to be healthy and good for the game, because I don't think you should be able to just bullet pass every pass and that always be the perfect throw. That's not how NFL quarterbacks do it. That's not how college quarterbacks do it. There's an art to it in getting the ball to the right spot with the right timing as well. Not every perfect pass is a bullet pass. So I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be super fun to learn. It's going to be a little challenging at first, but I think overall this is going to be really great for the game. Coming in at number 4 is the abilities. So abilities are like badges now. Again, I'm using 2K as an example. If you've played 2K, badges are sort of like abilities. They unlock animations, they unlock certain things you can do with your player, and then there's different tiers to them. There's bronze, silver, gold, and Hall of Fame. In Madden, it's going to be, I believe, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, I think is the tiers that they did. So your players will have abilities. They'll be ranked in tiers, which basically unlocks animations and unlocks certain things that your player can do. But here's the kicker, and what's going to be really interesting compared to Madden: the abilities are no longer a guarantee. So things like jukebox, things like deep zone KO, all of that in Madden is always a guarantee. It's going to happen 99% of the time unless just some weird game glitch happens or an animation gets canceled out. It's always going to happen. College football, you may have a player with a platinum ability and it may just not activate on the play. So you can't always fully consistently rely on the ability to bail you out of a bad play or to make a good play. It's going to sometimes just not happen. Your player's abilities are just not going to work. And I think that that's perfect, honestly. I think that's really the way that abilities should be in the game. If they are going to be in the game, you can argue they shouldn't be in the game at all. But I think the way they're doing this is going to be really cool and very unique. And I think it's going to honestly add a lot of fun to the game. I don't know if anyone would really want to play a game like college football, like Madden, without some form of system that makes better players better and worse players worse. I mean, in the old Maddens, it used to just be if you had 91 zone, your player played really good zone coverage and unlocked different animations than players that didn't have 91 zone. So, I mean, there's always the argument that maybe that should be the way it should be. I think that abilities are cool for the game. They're kind of more, and we have to think about this. This is a business on EA's part, so they have to do things that makes the game fun and unique, and that they can market like abilities. Especially, I know no one wants to talk about it. It's not the excitement for this game, but Ultimate Team, obviously, abilities probably honestly got started because of Ultimate Team. They can market and sell ability players. I mean, it's just the honest truth. But with college football, it seems like Ultimate Team is not nowhere near as much of a concern. And so with that, it makes it where the abilities can be not as broken and stupid. So with that being said, I think abilities are going to be a nice change. I like the system with the whole kind of badge tier system. It seems like a step in the right direction, so I'm pretty excited for it. Coming in at number 3, we have the wear and tear system. Now, this is something that to me is probably one of the most exciting things about the game, at least coming from like a dynasty perspective. We want the gameplay to be balanced. We want backups to matter. We want our roster to matter. But if this isn't properly tuned, it's going to be scary because it can very quickly get out of control. Players are getting injured left and right. You can't use a player in the first quarter because his arm got hit too many times. Like, there's a lot of stuff that comes from this that could be bad. I'm going to start by saying that. It could be bad. Or it could be amazing, and it could be what saves, not really saves, but what could amplify and make this game stand out above all other football games. So I'm super excited for this. If you've watched the gameplay deep dive, which I'm sure just about every person has now at this point, it looks like it's going to really matter for offense. They didn't show a ton on defense, though. They said it impacts all 22 players on the field, so I would assume that that means that defensive players are going to be impacted by this as well, but they didn't show anything like that in the trailer, so I don't really know if there was a reason for that, or if maybe defensive players don't get impacted by it as much. I don't know. But overall, I think this is also a really good change for the game. Some people are not going to like it. Some people like to cheese and use the same players every game and use the same player for 30 straight plays. If that's you, cool. Turn it off. That's fine. But I think for the dynasty heads, for the people that love franchise mode and building their rosters and playing against other users or other computer players, whatever it may be, actually having to worry about your roster and manage a full team and take care of your players, this is really cool. This like really puts you in the perspective and almost like you're the true coach taking care of these players and making sure they can stay healthy and use them wisely and not get them hurt or make their stats go down. So this is really cool. Coming in at number 2, we have the home field advantage system, and this ties in with the top 25 toughest places to play that they just dropped today. I'm not going to get into that because it's all on their website. I'll have it linked down in the description below if you want to go take a look for that yourself. But here's the thing. That list will more than likely be dynamic anyways in Dynasty mode. I'm just assuming that's how it was in the old college football games. There's nothing confirming that, but I would assume that that's probably the case. So obviously for us that play Dynasty mode, that top 25 list doesn't matter a ton. But for you play now guys, obviously that list is pretty important because it's out of your control. That's just whatever they change throughout the season is how it is. They did say that that list will be changing throughout the season. Obviously, it's not set in stone now that Texas A&M will always be number 1, which is kind of weird, right? Texas A&M, they're number 1. Anyways, home field advantage, super important. It's nothing new to the game. We've seen it in Madden. We've seen it in the old college football games, but nonetheless, it's going to be super important because how you handle the first and second quarter of a game are going to be super important because the composure system is now in the game. I'm not sure if that's always been in the old games or if there's always kind of been a composure system that we maybe just can't see. But your players can get hot, they can get cold. So that first turnover in the whiteout game against Penn State is going to rattle your quarterback and your team very quickly. And it's going to really matter to keep that composure up because that's whenever the bad throws start happening. The players can't hear nothing. They're freaking, their ears are blown out by everyone cheering in the stadium. So this is going to be really important to manage. And they did show the field general ability, which will help you as the player. If you have a very good quarterback or even a above average quarterback that may have that field general ability, they can handle the pressure of the road games a little bit easier. Not every quarterback will have that. A lot of teams will have quarterbacks without that, and then it's kind of on you to manage the game and to handle that. Obviously, if you're beating Penn State or LSU by 21 points, their crowd's not going to be as loud as if they're winning 14-0 in the first quarter. So you've got to manage the game, play well, obviously, but then obviously these lower ranked teams, they're going to have a tougher time playing against these higher ranked teams. You're going in and playing against a scrub team with, say, Alabama, Oklahoma, whoever you're playing against these scrub teams, their stadium pulse, it's not going to matter. You're gonna steamroll them. But this is going to be really fun. It's a really cool feature to have in the game. For super competitive players, it might be a bit of a nuisance that you feel like there's things affecting the gameplay that are kind of out of your control sometimes. But regardless, I think this is what makes college football college football. The atmosphere, the crowds, the chants, the fight songs, all that kind of stuff is super cool, and it's really exciting to see this going to be a very key feature in the game. Coming in at the number 1 spot, by far the biggest gameplay change and the hardest mechanic to master and learn is going to be the switch stick. If you kind of just brushed past this during the gameplay deep dive, I strongly urge you to watch it again and just consider what's going to happen with this new feature. So here's the thing with Madden and college football, I'm sure way back in the day, there's always certain plays that always beat the best coverages. So I don't remember what Madden exactly was, but Cover 4 was super popular. Madden 24 Cover 3 is really popular. Towards the end of the year, Man got really popular, but there's always certain route combos and certain plays that always beat either every coverage, or they're designed to beat a Cover 3 always, or always beat a Cover 4. With this, you can still run your Cover 3, run your Cover 4 against these plays that are designed to beat those coverages, because you can just switch and guard something else in the middle of a play. And it looks like, I mean, there's no confirmation on this, but we can assume that you can switch to as many players as you want during the same play. So you can guard something on the left, switch to the middle, guard something on the right, all in the middle of the same play. That is super crazy, because that adds to the mind games of playing against a quarterback and playing on defense, and that constant chess battle of choosing the right coverage, choosing the right route combo, looking at the right part of the field. This adds to that by a great amount. If you're an offline player, guess what? You don't have to worry about this. Not really a concern for you. Obviously, the computer's not going to be switching players mid-play and flying around on the field. But for people that play online, whether you're a casual player or a super comp player, you're going to see this. You're going to see it. It's either going to be used by someone better than you, or you're going to dominate someone with this feature that's not as good as you as a player. Get ready to learn this, get ready to use it, and I would try to hop in and practice this as quickly as possible if you do play online, because this is going to be a very big feature. And this is what's really going to probably separate the skill gap between most casual players and most top players. So I'm really excited for this feature. I'm not positive if it's been in Madden or college football in the past. So forgive me if I'm acting like this is some brand new great idea whenever it's been in the game before. I don't remember a year that it was, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't. But regardless, it's here now, and it's going to be a huge gameplay change. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously, I want you to like and subscribe, but I have a very important question. Is anyone else concerned that they're gonna die before this game comes out? I'm nervous. I don't know. 11 years, man, that's a long time to wait. Obviously, I'm sure some of you are older than me. You've played more of the old college football games than I ever did. But regardless, I'm super pumped, and I'm so scared I'm going to get hit by a train, have a heart attack, or eat some bad pizza. It's scary to think about. That's the question.